Hi guys, I'm going to start a new series today. I'm going to call it the Backyard Orchard. In the perimeter of our backyard we have, I don't know, 10-ish, maybe 11 or 12 fruit trees planted. And there have been some pretty major changes over the course of this year that I kind of wanted to document. Some of the advantages to having your own fruit trees, and then some of the hassles and problems you run into. It's kind of an ongoing cycle of replacing trees that die or get damaged or whatever. We're in a part of the country where they just don't last forever. I'm not sure how long fruit trees last, but it seems like 5 or 6 years is about the extent of the life of a fruit tree. Here anyways. Maybe a little longer, but on average they haven't been making it quite that far, I don't think. So I'm going to walk you through, just explain to you what I've done and go from there. Alright, this is the first one. It was a pear tree that was planted I think 3 years ago, and we had pretty strong storms the other night and it snapped it off. You can see the rabbits got at it one winter. Actually it's first winter I think, and it weakened it, and then those storms strong enough that it just snapped right off. First year it had fruit on it. I suppose it's 20 feet tall. Yeah, the fruit's already fallen off. It's going to be the first year for fruit on this one. But these suckers are coming, so I think I'll just trim one back and leave the other, well there's 3 there, and we'll see what that does instead of digging it out and replacing it, because I do want the pear tree. And we have a cherry tree. We have 2 cherry trees. And this will be the first one. And we've harvested, these have produced real well the last 3 years. So in between the trees, this year we planted, I have some pumpkins and squash just scattered throughout, just to see how it does. Now before you go crazy, there are wood chips under there, and there's landscaping paper that stuff isn't supposed to go through, but these seeds spread from the yard and then implant on top of that stuff, and it's just a lot of work to keep it up, so it doesn't happen. This is a pear tree, and it's one of the older trees we have, one of the originals, and this will be, last year we got enough to can a few quarts. This will be the first year where we're going to have a plethora of pears, as you can see. I actually need to come out here and build supports on these to hold them up, because as those get bigger, that weight's going to get bad and it's going to break them. We have another peach tree, or sorry, cherry tree. It's a different cherry. I don't remember the names of the cherries anymore, but it's a different cherry, and it produced well again this year. This is the one that we didn't get to fully harvest because it comes ripe just after the other tree, and we were going on vacation, so I just had the kids come out and pick a bunch of cherries off it, and we froze them pit and all, and that's what I made the meat out of. And you can still see there's dried cherries up there on the tree. My mom even came and picked some one day. We just didn't get them all harvested this year. This is a peach tree. Last year was the first year it produced, and it is the same age as that big pear tree, and actually the cherry tree. When we bought this, it was supposed to have been a plum tree. It was obviously mismarked, and last year was the first year it produced peaches. But it has some sort of disease. And then we have squash and stuff planted back in there. There's asparagus, blackberries. I've had several apple trees in this spot. Here's another apple tree. I think this one's green apple. That's new this year, because the apple tree that was there has died the last, I don't know if it's gotten much bigger than that for the last 4 or 5 years. They just keep dying. These are raspberries. These are raspberries here. And these are blackberries. These are the blackberries. And I don't even see them flowering yet. But I did notice the other day that there were a few berries on one of the plants. Oh, there's some starting right there. Anyway, so this tree is a plum tree, and I'm considering cutting it down. And the only reason is because it gets tons of plums on it every year, but we don't really get to harvest any because of these things. Japanese beetle, I think is what they're called. Asian beetle, I don't remember what they're called, but they love the leaves on this tree. And you can see what they do to it. And the tree suffers so much that the fruit you can see on the ground. It's in the neighbor's yard, so we're going to pick it up and throw it in our yard. That one's about right. The fruit falls off. We don't actually get to pick it. And this is another peach tree. This tree has produced several years in a row. We've gotten bushel upon bushel of peaches off this tree. But it started flowering this spring and then everything died off and it died. There was another peach tree right there where that little apple tree is. And it did the same thing last year. It actually started putting fruit last year. It wasn't much bigger than this, but it had fruit on it, and then it did the same thing and died. So I think it spread from this tree to that tree, and then the other peach tree. And then we have another apple tree here. And there aren't very many apples on that this year. It's pretty low. We have strawberry patch over there, and then the garden. So that's a walkthrough of everything. I know it's a little choppy because I was carrying the camera.